Koch Scholars program hosts a wide range of atypical, passionate people with varying perspectives, and to see ideas openly challenged in that environment has been really illuminating for me. I also really enjoy listening to faculty speak without filters, as you may not normally see in classrooms.
All right, so when I first joined Koch Scholars, I was kind of nervous to share my own opinions. And at the same time, when I heard other people's perspectives that weren't really in line with mine, I'd usually think, oh man, how can you still think that? You must be an idiot. But through the course of Koch Scholars, I really began to see the validity of other people's viewpoints. And now when I hear someone else's viewpoint differs from mine, I get excited.
The most interesting thing about Koch Scholars has been talking to incredibly intelligent people who have opinions that are completely different from mine, and watching them defend their position and destroy mine at the same time. That has been one of the best intellectual experiences of my life.
What I really like about Koch Scholars is not just the opportunity to hear a different point of view than my own, but the opportunity to challenge these other points of view. It's a lot of fun, and it really has shown me the ways in which I can improve my own points of view and my own arguments.
So I've really benefited from Koch Scholars because I've been able to really think and cultivate ideas about culture and politics and economics, and I think my favorite part about it is the mentorship that I've received from the other students and the professors that have been in the program, because they've really challenged the ideas and made me decide why it's important to be discussing these ideas.
Koch Scholars for me has been a place where I can come and I can really open my mind and learn new things, but also discover how I feel about topics and about really critical ideas that we face in our daily lives.
Koch Scholars to me was a wonderful opportunity to get with my academic peers and to study content that I wouldn't have really looked at normally. Because of that, I got to get a very wide range of viewpoints concerning some pretty broad topics, everything from our daily lives here in our local community to polygamy, and had other large-scale issues like libertarianism and revolution in society. Because of that, I feel like I have actually grown quite a bit as an academic, and I'm going to take this experience and utilize it in the rest of my life. I learned how to read novels for more than they really are, more than just paper and words, and to really grab depth and new ideas from them.
I think coming out of high school, Koch Scholars is one of the best things that could happen to me. As a teenager, you think you know everything, and your opinion's always correct. Coming through Koch Scholars, definitely learned that that wasn't the correct way to view everything. I grew in a maturity level, and by the end of it, I was able to think more like an adult and be able to act more like an adult, and that's something that I don't think I would have gained outside of the Koch Scholars.
I love Koch Scholars because as we got together, our minds could meld and we could really view the other thoughts of the people in the group. I liked how in the books we could see the opposition against all the characters and how they decided to live their lives. It allowed me personally to see how my choices affect others and how I can decide who I want to be, and I can grow with opposition.
You learn how to read fairly early on in life, and I think, at least for myself, I hadn't really put much thought into reading, the process of reading, the thinking of reading, until Koch Scholars. Koch Scholars challenged me to think way more deeply about reading and to learn how to analyze text from a lot of different angles. I never thought I would find myself looking at a novel from a specifically feminist perspective or a specifically libertarian perspective, but it was amazing to me how much more you could get out of novels from reading them from these different perspectives.
So I've always really loved to read books, but it wasn't until Koch Scholars that I realized that I can read a book, dislike it and disagree with it, but still gain a lot of insights and a lot of knowledge from this book. And I love the way that Koch Scholars forces you to think about things and to ask questions when you're reading in order to lead you to these insights and to these conclusions.
At the beginning of the semester of Koch Scholars, we read a book called How to Read a Book. by Mortimer J. Adler and Charles Van Doren. And in that book, there was a quote that really stood out to me, and it said that a man who cannot say what he thinks usually does not know what he thinks. And one of the things that I absolutely loved about Koch Scholars is the fact that we could express the things that we believed about the different principles of liberty and freedom and responsibility that were highlights during the semester.
Koch Scholars has really helped me to find my own identity and opinion on liberty and freedom. And I think I've learned it's really important that we're constantly checking ourselves, not letting society or the world push us whatever way popular opinion is, but knowing our own values and ideas behind liberty and freedom, and challenging our own ideas and values so that we fight for what it is that we feel is important to us. And so Koch Scholars has really helped me sort of find an identity and find how freedom really defines us as a nation.
Participating in Koch Scholars was a really great opportunity to read and think critically and analytically. We had the opportunity to discuss the themes of freedom and liberty in a variety of novels that we read this semester. My favorite book that we read this semester was called Anthem by Ayn Rand. It's a novel that's set in the future. It's a very collectivist society, and so they don't recognize any type of individuality. And so it was just really interesting to get the author's take on the importance of the individual, the importance of recognizing that you are separate from society and that you have unique experiences and backgrounds.
I was a little concerned about joining Koch Scholars because I'm not a libertarian, I don't fall on that end of the spectrum, and do I really want to be associated with Kochtopus and all of that stuff? But what I found is really fantastic. These books, these people, these discussions that we've been having, they have been probably the most intellectually stimulating and refreshing thing that I've found since I've been at college. I've looked elsewhere, I haven't found anything like it. I'm honestly very proud to be a Koch Scholar at this point, and I'm very sad that the semester is over.